Have you ever wondered where most of our planet's carbon emissions come from? It's a question that's gaining importance as we confront the reality of climate change. Often we think of factories and vehicles as the main culprits, but you might be surprised to learn that two other significant contributors are beef consumption and air travel. In fact, they contribute a substantial portion to the global carbon emissions. So let's dive deeper into these two major contributors: our love for beef and our need for speed and travel. You may not realize it, but your juicy steak could be contributing more to climate change than your car. Picture this: an expansive landscape once brimming with lush forests, now stripped bare to make room for grazing cattle. This deforestation doesn't just rob us of our trees, it also releases the carbon they've been storing back into the atmosphere. And that's only the beginning. Now let's consider the cows themselves. They're not just placidly grazing, they're also producing methane, a greenhouse gas that's over 20 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Each cow can generate up to 200 pounds of methane every year, and with approximately 1 billion cattle worldwide, that's a lot of hot air. And don't forget about the energy usage. From the electricity needed to run the slaughterhouses, to the fuel-guzzling trucks transporting beef across the country, it all adds up. But the beef industry's carbon footprint doesn't end there. There's also the carbon emissions from producing the animal feed, the water usage, and the waste produced by the cattle. So next time you're savoring a mouth-watering burger or a succulent steak, pause for a moment and consider the true cost of your meal. It's clear that our craving for beef has a larger impact on our planet than we may have initially thought. Next time you board a plane, consider this: air travel contributes a significant portion of global carbon emissions. Airplanes, those magnificent machines that defy gravity, are not without their environmental pitfalls. Burning jet fuel for propulsion, these winged giants pump out staggering amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. To put it into perspective, a single long-haul flight can produce up to a ton of CO2 per passenger. But that's just one flight. Now let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Every year, there are around 38 million flights worldwide. That's an average of 104,000 flights per day, each burning copious amounts of fuel, and each contributing to the carbon emissions problem. And there's another twist to this high-flying tale. Air travel doesn't just contribute to carbon emissions. The altitude at which planes operate exacerbates the problem. When planes emit CO too high in the atmosphere, it has a more harmful impact on climate change than ground-level emissions, making flying an even more carbon-intensive activity. However, it's not all doom and gloom. As we become more aware of the environmental impacts of our actions, solutions are being sought. From biofuels to electric planes, the future of aviation could look very different. So, flying might get us places fast, but it's leaving a hefty carbon footprint. Now that we've looked at both sources, let's compare. Beef production and air travel are significant contributors to global carbon emissions. Picture this: the carbon footprint of a single beef burger is roughly equivalent to driving a car for 10 miles. On the other hand, a single transatlantic flight is equivalent to consuming around 2,000 beef burgers. The next time you bite into a burger or book a flight, remember the impact on our planet. Every choice matters in our fight against climate change.